This happened about 2 years ago, back when I was living alone in a small apartment in Seattle, Washington. The only company I had was my dog, Max. He was a German Shepherd, very calm, but weirdly alert all the time. I adopted him when he was still a puppy. And honestly, he never really felt like just a pet. He felt more like family. The first few weeks in that apartment felt completely normal. I'd work during the day, take Max on walks at night, then come back home and fall asleep with the TV running quietly in the background. But after about a month, I started noticing changes in Max's behavior. Every night before bed, he would sit near my bedroom door and just stare at it, completely still. Sometimes he'd growl quietly. Sometimes he'd whine under his breath. At first I thought maybe he was hearing neighbors in the hallway. The building was old, and late at night you could always hear pipes creaking through the walls. But one night, something happened that genuinely unsettled me. It was around 2 a.m. when I suddenly woke up. The room was pitch dark. The only light came from the orange glow of a street lamp outside my window. And in that dim light, I realized Max wasn't beside my bed. He was sitting directly in front of the bedroom door, his body completely stiff, ears raised, eyes locked on the hallway outside. I quietly whispered his name, Max, but he didn't even look at me. Then slowly, he started growling. Not an aggressive growl, a nervous one, like he was scared. A cold feeling spread through my chest. I slowly got out of bed and looked toward the hallway. Nothing was there, just darkness. But at the same time, I could have sworn I saw movement near the end of the hallway. Something small, something subtle. So subtle that I honestly thought my eyes were playing tricks on me. I immediately turned on the hallway light. Everything looked normal. Nothing there. But Max kept growling. That entire night, he never came back to the bed. He stayed sitting near the door until morning. After that, it started happening almost every night, right around the same time. Max would suddenly wake up and stare into the hallway. Sometimes he'd slowly walk toward it, then immediately back away, like he didn't want to go near it. And slowly, I started feeling uncomfortable in that apartment too, especially at night. It constantly felt like someone was standing just outside my room. One night I got up to use the bathroom. The apartment was dead silent. The second I stepped into the hallway, Max suddenly moved in front of me and blocked my path. He was shaking slightly. I tried moving around him, but he wouldn't budge. Then, slowly, he turned his head toward the far end of the hallway. So I looked too. At first, I didn't see anything. But after a few seconds, I noticed what looked like a tall figure standing in the darkness, completely motionless. So dark that its shape almost blended into the hallway itself. I immediately stepped backward, and at that exact moment, the hallway light flickered. When the light stabilized again, the figure was gone. I kept trying to convince myself it was just a shadow, but that night, for the first time ever, Max crawled underneath my bed and stayed there. I had never seen him act like that before. The next few days were mostly normal. Then one night, I got up to grab water from the kitchen. Max was lying in the living room. Suddenly, he started barking aggressively toward the front door. I rushed over and saw him staring directly at the gap beneath the door. Then, slowly, he started backing away, like someone was standing on the other side. My heartbeat instantly sped up. I checked through the peephole. The hallway was empty. But then, 3 soft knocks came from the other side of the door. Knock, knock, knock. So quiet that if the apartment hadn't been completely silent, I probably wouldn't have heard them. I froze. After a few seconds, I finally asked, "Who's there?" No response, just silence. But Max had already backed away toward the wall, terrified. I looked through the peephole again. Still nothing. But this time, I heard breathing on the other side of the door. Very slow breathing. A freezing sensation rushed through my entire body. I stepped away immediately and checked the locks again. That night, I didn't sleep at all. I left every light on until morning, and Max never left my side. The next morning, I asked the apartment manager if anyone else on my floor had complained about noises during the night. He said no, but then he casually asked, "Your dog was barking again last night?" I told him yeah. He stayed quiet for a few seconds, then said, "You're not the first tenant from that apartment to complain about strange things." The second he said that, my stomach dropped. I asked him what he meant, but he immediately brushed it off. After that, I decided to set up a small security camera facing the hallway, just for peace of mind. That night, around 3 a.m., Max suddenly woke up growling again, but this time, he wasn't looking towards the bedroom door. He was staring directly behind me, at the wall. Slowly, I turned around, and right then, my phone lit up with a notification. Motion detected. My heart immediately started pounding. I opened the camera feed. The hallway camera was live. For the first few seconds, nothing was there. Then, slowly, something stepped out from the far corner of the hallway. A tall, dark figure, so tall its head nearly touched the top of the camera frame. It just stood there, completely motionless. Then, slowly, its head turned towards the camera. My breathing stopped, because there was no face, just pitch black darkness. And at that exact moment, from outside my bedroom door, I heard a slow, scratching sound. Max completely lost it and started barking hysterically. I immediately called 911. But by the time police arrived, the camera footage had corrupted. The entire file was nothing but a black screen, and the officers found absolutely nothing in the hallway. But that night, I decided I was done living there. 2 days later, I moved out of the apartment. A few months later, I was living in a completely different place. And honestly, for a while, everything felt normal again. Until one night, around 2:17 a.m., Max suddenly woke up again. Then slowly, he turned toward my bedroom door and quietly started growling at the darkness outside. This time, his growl sounded different, lower, heavier, almost nervous. The room was completely dark, but instantly, that same feeling came rushing back. The same tension, the same cold feeling I used to get in the Seattle apartment. I slowly sat up in bed. Max was standing near the foot of the bed now, body stiff, eyes locked directly on the bedroom door. Then suddenly, he let out a soft whine, a sound I had never heard from him before. I grabbed my phone and checked the time. 2:17 a.m., exactly the same time things used to happen in the old apartment. My heartbeat slowly started speeding up. I kept trying to convince myself it was just a coincidence. But then, from outside the bedroom, I heard footsteps. Slow footsteps. Step, 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 barefoot. Very soft. Like someone was slowly walking through the hallway. My breathing stopped. I lived completely alone, and the apartment above mine had been empty for weeks. But the footsteps slowly came closer, until they stopped directly outside my bedroom door. Max started growling again, low and aggressive this time. His eyes never moved from the door. Then, slowly, the doorknob began to turn. Click, click, like someone was carefully trying to open it without making noise. My hands instantly went cold. I was about to get out of bed when suddenly, Max exploded into barking and charged toward the door. The sound echoed through the apartment, and immediately the doorknob stopped moving. Everything went silent again. Completely silent. So silent. I could hear my own heartbeat. I sat there frozen for a few seconds. Then, slowly, I got up and walked toward the door. Max was still standing in front of it, completely tense. I looked through the peephole. The hallway was empty, but near the far wall, I noticed long, wet streaks running down the paint, like somebody had dragged their fingers across it. A cold feeling spread through my stomach. I immediately backed away and checked the locks again. That night, I didn't sleep at all. I left every light in the apartment on until morning, but the most disturbing thing happened the next day. When I was leaving for work, I noticed Max refusing to go near the front door. He kept backing away, shaking. That's when I looked down, and my entire body went numb. There were 4 long scratch marks carved into the inside of the door. Not outside, inside, like something had been trying to get in from inside the apartment. After that night, Max was never the same again.